Hello folks, welcome back to Reality Check with Arvind Swaminathan. We got something strange for you today, though it shouldn't be strange. We should all have known about this and expected it. I'm talking about this I.N.D.I.A. They call themselves India. Why? Who gave them that authority? The I dot etc. is one thing, but to call themselves India without the dots, there's something wrong there. Why is this permitted? How can you use that as a political party or group? Can you use the Indian national flag? No. Can you use the 3 lions or 4 lions emblem? No. Then how do you use the word India? How do you represent India? How do you claim to represent India and be India? Are they the state of India? Is it Louis or Louis XIV who said, "L'état c'est moi"? Why are they saying, "I am India" or "I am the state"? Why isn't the Election Commission doing something about it? Surely it is against election law. Again I come back to this. Can they use the Indian national flag as a party symbol? No. Can they use the 3 lions as a party symbol? No. Then why are they allowed to use the name India? It's not Indian, it's India. Maybe the Election Commission and maybe even if necessary the Supreme Court should take a stand on this. This is not permissible. Now we come to the real thing. What does it stand for? I.N.D.I.A. Indian, which is acceptable, Indian, National, Developmental, Inclusive Alliance. Developmental, oh brother. We know what Mamata Banerjee thinks of development. When the Tatars wanted to go to West Bengal and set up their plant in Singrur, they got the land, they were about to put up the outside boundary wall, when Madam says, "Please get out, we don't want you here." The Tatars returned all the land and went to Gujarat. Is this what you call development? Don't let a person who wants to start something create employment, you drive him out. That's called development. Wow. And then, who else is in this alliance? Mr. Lalu Yadav. What's he doing in Patna and especially in Bangalore? He's supposed to be in the middle of serving a prison sentence. You remember his old forest camp? So what is he doing in Bangalore? How did he get there? If he is out at all, it's on health grounds. Then, if he is in Bangalore, or Bangalore, how can he be said to be in ill health or poor health? He should be back in prison, not in a 5-star resort, but in a normal prison cell. Such is the state in Bihar. You're in prison yet you're roaming around free as a bird. Okay, now we come to Mr. Nitish Kumar and Uddhav Thackeray. Double crosses at best. They both won an election in cooperation or in partnership with the BJP. The moment they win, they double cross and go to the others. Now, can such people be relied upon? They will say one thing and do something else. They make one promise and go the other way. Okay? Now, we come across one of the biggest in this alliance, the Congress Party. Have a look at their leadership. Right? Sonia Gandhi is out on bail. Remember National Herald? That scam? Rahul Gandhi is out on bail. Not just on the National Herald scam, but also He's been sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. So what's he doing outside? Taking part in all sorts of politics or political alliances. When we all know he's been disqualified from so doing for 6 years after he comes out. Now, these are the kind of leaders. Now, why does Rahul Gandhi think he's above the law? Where did it begin? Now, Gujarat High Court sentenced him, or Gujarat Court sentenced him to 2 years imprisonment because they said he was a habitual offender. He is. Where did he first come into the limelight? Infamy. How many of you remember this? In 2001, 9/11 happened. You remember that? Aircraft going into the World Trade Center building? The whole world's attention was diverted there. Your friend, this Mr. Rahul Gandhi, thought, right time he can slip through into the US. Nobody would notice. He had $200,000 in cash in his handbaggage, along with his Colombian girlfriend, who, I don't know if it's true or not, was said to be the daughter of one of the Colombian drug dons. Now the $200,000, it is a criminal offense to bring in that much cash without prior permission. He had none. Rahul Gandhi should have been in an American prison on a 40-year sentence. Yes, 40 years, 40. And Vajpayee, our Indian Prime Minister at the time, bailed him out from there. And how did he thank him? He lumbered the BJP government and Mr. Vajpayee with Coffin Gate. Kargil heroes. It took them 8 years to get out of that jam, which were all one big lie. In between, the UPA government won 2 elections. You think how far back that set our development? Because the UPA and Congress government, they have only one mantra: hold India back. Like Sardarji and his basket of crabs. If one looks like getting out, the others will drag him back inside. Similarly with former Congress governments. If a company looks like doing well, they get dragged back inside. Why? The government of India or the Congress government did not want India to develop. How? What did they do? Why not? Well, if any people started making things in India, how could they import everything with huge commissions on the side? Which is what Congress people get rich on. Have been doing for years, decades. Now, this is one of the reasons why everybody is so mad at Mr. Modi, because he has reversed the brain drain. The British, the West Europeans and the Americans are wondering, where on earth are they going to get their doctors from? Where are they going to get their engineers, their teachers? Because most of them from India used to end up in the UK, US, Canada, Western Europe. Now they're coming back here, back to India. Now you begin to understand. And this particular alliance, so-called, which claims to represent India, does it make sense? Any sense whatsoever? I can't see any sense out of them. There is no equality. There is no democracy. And there is no secularism with these so-called opposition parties. Most of them are rabidly anti-Hindu. Why? You live in a Hindu country and you're against Hindus? What are you doing here? Get out. Now you begin to understand why this alliance is such an absolute farce. They keep claiming that Modi is divisive, he divides everybody. He pushes people into compartments. There are 26 of these guys who've been brought together by him. Evidence in staring you in the face that Modi brings people together. He doesn't drive them apart. Yes, the fact is most of these are criminals, or anti-developmental people, or anti-secularism, or anti-Hindu. But don't tell me that's besides the point. Why is it besides the point? Now you have a look at what's happening all over the country. These same 26 alliance partners. Not a word about Rajasthan. And when a Rajasthani Congress minister brings it up in their legislative assembly, they sack him. Why? Apparently last year, 6,000 rape cases of Dalits in Rajasthan. FIRs are lodged, but no action is taken. What does that tell you? That the Congress party and the Congress government isn't bothered. To them, raping of Dalit girls and women is normal, is acceptable. What about Bihar? What's happening there? From what we see, police are firing on unarmed civilians. Why? Who are demanding their rights. Peaceful procession, and you fire on them. Is it acceptable? Is it? What about Chhattisgarh? What about West Bengal? Poll violence. Every time there is a poll or an election, 50, 60, maybe more lives are lost. And according to Mamata Banerjee, it's only a small thing. Just a few. Meaningless. Stop making a mountain out of a molehill. Manipur? That's different. Why? It's a BJP ruled state, they claim. What is happening in Manipur? The Kukis and the Rohingyas came in from outside. They settled in the hills and drove the Meiteis out. The Meiteis are now in the plains. And what happened? These Kukis and Rohingyas started massive poppy cultivation and opium production. That opium has been going to all parts of India, whether through Bangladesh or through Nepal or via Pakistan into India. What does the Congress and the opposition parties want? What do they want? That Indian youth becomes a bunch of drug addicts, fit for nothing, like China in the 1800s? Is that what you want? Then why are you not with the BJP government in trying to stamp out this drug trade and this drug menace in the country of India? And then you claim you're such wonderful people? You want India to come up? You? Come on. Where is your past track record? What is it? The exact opposite of what you claim. The exact opposite of what the BJP has been doing. Taking India forward rather than backwards. There is far greater connectivity. People can move out of their even remote villages into rural and urban areas rather than totally backward areas. They can move out, there is internet all over the place. True, it didn't exist decades ago, but at least they've tried to allow people to communicate, education, thinking ability, which the opposition and you guys don't want. Why? Because if the Indian population starts thinking and thinking properly, you get wiped out. Now you understand what the game is. Now to one or two of the other alliance partners. Mr. Stalin, Tamil Nadu, rabidly anti-Hindu and especially anti-Brahmin. So where is secularism and where is equality? I mean, I just don't understand what is going on. Why are you trying to stamp out Hinduism? Is it because it's a democratic religion? It allows you total freedom to worship whatever you want in your own way? Are you also trying to go in my way or the highway? You don't want you don't want democracy, only a dictatorship. And of course the other problem in Manipur is massive conversion to Christianity. Why? I mean, I know the Congress party is very happy if people are converted to either Islam or Christianity. They just don't like Hinduism or Hindus. This is a fact. There's no getting away from it. Why? Then why do you want to stay in this country? Now, if you notice, the brain drain is something which is very much in our minds. Certainly it's in the 60s and 70s and 80s. Now what the BJP has done is to reverse that. And when you reverse it, it's not India who's unhappy, but the UK, Western Europe, the US and Canada. They get very unhappy. Because now they have to train their own personnel, which is very expensive. Trust me. It's expensive enough here, but you think of them. Multiply it about 15 or 20 times, you begin to get my message. Not only that, an Indian doctor here in 1 year will get more experience than a British or American doctor will ever get in his entire lifetime. He just cannot get that kind of hands-on experience in the US or the UK or Western Europe. I mean, this country, he will get to the stage he can almost look at your face and know what's wrong with you without you saying anything. Almost, huh? Not quite. Now that is a very, very big step which this particular government has taken. And all this in just 9 years. You think of what he's done to the railways. How many Vande Bharat trains are there? Very fast, convenient and very comfortable intercity expresses. You see, he's got hold of one thing. For most positions, you need people who know. You need qualified people who understand what do we need and how to go about getting it. Classic example, the railways. DRDO, ISRO. I mean, see where they've taken us in these last 9 or 10 years. From a huge importer of weaponry, we're now exporting. I mean, you think of that. It is a huge step. Which, of course, the Congress hates. Why? There's no more backhanders or bribe money. The economy has taken off. It's now the 5th largest in the world. Within another 3 or 4 years, it should be the 3rd largest. The only ones ahead would be China and the US. I mean, you think about that alone and you wonder, would the Congress ever have managed to do that? No, because they never wanted to do that. They never wanted to make in India. They wanted us to remain in the Hindu-Muslim conflict zone. And I don't understand why, except the old theory, not just theory but fact. Nehru and the Congress wanted India to be their colony after the British. And that's what they're doing to us. As Mr. Ajit Doval has said recently in one of his clips, that if Sardar Patel, if Bose had become the Prime Minister, there would have been no partition. Why? Because Jinnah has said he recognizes only one leader in India, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Quite apart from the motivation he went through and the motivation he gave to so many Indians, the Indian National Army and so on. There's one other thing about him which very few people know or understand. In the early 1920s, when the British first started inducting Indians into the Indian Civil Service, or the ICS, Netaji Subhash Bose was one of those who was a covenanted ICS officer. He was. He resigned his commission and then went into the freedom struggle. He knew something about administration. Nehru knew nothing about it. He just wanted to be a dictator. And trying to do that, he destroyed the administration. He didn't care about India. He only cared about himself. That's it. Just like the Congress Party today. They only care about one family. That's it. And the funny thing is, they're all out on bail. Whether it's Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, or Robert Vadra, the son-in-law. They're out on bail. And they still believe they're above the law. Rahul Gandhi has reason to believe it when he can be bailed out of the American prison and kept out of all sorts of problems here. Why not? He has one other very big thing hanging over his head, his citizenship. I mean, he should be behind bars purely on that. Why? According to what Dr. Subramaniam Swamy has floated, in 2005, Rahul Gandhi declared to then Her Majesty's government in the UK that as a director of a company called Back Ops in the UK, where he was a director and a company secretary, that he was a British citizen. Now, if he was a British citizen in 2005, how could he be a sitting member of parliament in India at that time? He has been since 2004, that we know of. The only way he could do that is by lying to the election officer that he was an Indian citizen. Now that is perjury. Plus, when he takes the oath of office as an MP, he again swears. Therefore, he is guilty of perjury again. Now, perjury is a serious criminal offence. You see, because you cannot be a British citizen and a citizen of India at the same time. He can claim, but I'm an overseas citizen of India. Very good. But as an overseas citizen of India, or an OCI as we say, he may not accept any employment, either in the public sector or in the private sector in India. This is not permissible. So how, if he's an OCI, how did he become a member of parliament here? If he's an Indian citizen and he declares that he's a British citizen to the government of the UK, again, that is a very serious criminal offence. He cannot be a citizen of both countries, one or the other. So Mr. Rahul Gandhi, big part of this alliance, Where are you a citizen? India or the UK? Or maybe somewhere else? You better prove your citizenship quickly and in no uncertain manner. Because otherwise, once you serve this prison sentence, if you're not an Indian citizen, you'll be deported. I hope you know what that means, that you may never enter India again. So let's get this cleared up now. You've been asked to produce your credentials or prove your citizenship, and you ensured that you have never done so. Now's the time. We need to know. All of us need to know. Well, so much for the alliance. I leave them to you to make up your own minds. What are they worth? Are they worth trusting? Can they be trusted? Which of these would you trust as the Prime Minister of this country of ours? Do you want us to go forward or go back into the Stone Age or back into the 50s and 60s era where you just don't look at the future? Now, sorry, I meant to say something else. You see, Nehru's stupidity. You talk about Manipur. Just a small thing. We've heard foreign hand, foreign intervention. Yes, it's a big possibility. Why? Not just Rohingyas from Myanmar and Kukis from Myanmar, but also Rohingyas from Bangladesh. And a third thing, remember somewhere not far away off that coastline are a group of islands, the Coco Islands, which Nehru in his largesse gave to Myanmar or Burma as it was then. Who've given it over to the Chinese? Now you understand the danger or the threat posed from that region. Now folks, try and understand where the Congress government has placed us as Indians. You see the threats, the dangers from how many different sides? So, are they worth trusting? Is this alliance worth even being given a look, let alone a chance? Anyway, folks, thank you. If you like, press the like button, subscribe, pass it on to your groups, your friends, ask them to pass it on. Because this is something every one of us must understand. This alliance is a group full of very undesirable people. Now, do you really want to trust India with these folk? I'll leave that to you. Ciao.